I'd like to kick things off by having you define something for us. You and I both, we live in Silicon Valley, coming from the Bay Area, and it seems like every day everybody's talking about agentic.
Right.
But let's define what that is to start things off. What is agentic AI from your perspective?
Sure. I have discussions a lot with my peers. We talked a little bit about it at Tractor Supply this morning. So what is agentic? Agentic, how we define it at Workato, and a lot of our customers are pushing us that way, is true agents. Agents actually do true work, and that's deep action into their systems for process automation. So when you have a process, it must go across your tech stack. And if you want an agent to do deep action and be a true agent, that's what we call an agent. It's an action. It's actually thinking and doing work on your behalf. Maybe with you helping it along the way, or maybe doing it autonomously as well. But actually doing the action that you want it to, not just serving knowledge, and not just searching knowledge, but actually doing deep action is how we define
which is very different than what we've been talking about up until this point.
Right.
So walk me through, because I also know that it's a journey to become more agentic, right? What has Workato's journey been from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you. So Workato first stands for work automation, and we're an enterprise orchestration platform, think integration, and that's where it starts. The foundation of our agentic journey started about 3 years ago. We have our enterprise orchestration platform. And then over 2 years ago, we got our agreement with OpenAI, enterprise agreement, and we built connectors with our platform and gave those connectors to the business to start plugging in AI into their business processes. We call it orchestration plus AI. And that was about 2.5 years ago. And then about 1.5 years ago, we started building our own agentic layer on top of our orchestration platform. And that's been really exciting. Really amazing, a little bit scary about building what we call genies or our agents with the business. And that's our true defining moments where we're starting to realize true ROI, and some of our customers are too.
Oh, that's really exciting. And we know there's only more of that potential to come, right? In a lot of ways, there's infinite potential that can come about with agentic AI, but we also know that it's not easy to realize that potential. In your mind, what are the gaps, the barriers, the hurdles that you're seeing in what you're doing and with the customers that you're working with that is getting in the way of deployment?
Sure. One, it starts with the people, the mentality. It's one of the biggest gaps, and I feel like CIOs, and Glenn's a great example of that, and where at Tractor Supply, where we need to be as CIOs, as IT leaders, tech leaders, we need to be enabling the business with the technology. And the best place to start is with IT departments and leveraging what we do internally, but also bringing it to the business and showing them the light, showing them how they can change their processes with AI. So it's a hurdle number one. We talked about this morning, data, dirty data. Bad data in is bad data out. That's a hurdle. If you're gonna train your agents on your data, it's gotta be clean. It's a forcing function. If you clean up your standard operating procedures, your data warehouse, that's a hurdle. And then number three is the security and governance. We have a fine line as tech leaders. We wanna be very innovative, but we also have to put some guardrails on, like we were up here before. You were saying that this morning about putting guardrails on. So it's a tough balance.
Yeah.
So you want to move so fast, you want to enable the business, but you need to put the guardrails on.
And those are tough challenges, especially
really
that
tough.
human element, of course. Bring this to life for us. What are some of the real-life examples that you've seen with this transformation to agentic, what that journey has been with some of the customers that you've worked with?
And that's been fun. We have a very large American EV company who uses us for their loan processing. They have 7 days to process loans before they put in our agentic orchestration platform. Went from 7 days to 5 minutes. So,
5 minutes.
Yeah, you can imagine the ROI on that. They get the cars off the lot, and the customer's happy they get their car. So that's a big plus for us. It was almost also sucking in the data from documents, but now they're iPads, and approving that loan processing.
Wow.
So that's number one. We have a large security company in the Bay Area where there are so many SKUs that quoting has become very painful and a slow process for their sales team, where in fact they don't do it anymore. They have the sales ops team do it. With literally sales rep talking through an agent to build a quote, or from listening to some of the sales calls, the agent's building the quote for them based on their order to cash processes. It builds the quote for them. And it's taken the ordering process time down in half. So those are some of the things and some of the things we're doing internally too is I call it balancing the checkbook. We have an agent we have JP Morgan Chase as a bank. And whenever we get a new transaction, JP Morgan Chase, whether it be my salary or we're paying a bill, that transaction goes through an agent, and then it balances, and it ties a transaction in our ERP system. We've gotten to a point where it's gotten so good, we just let it interact with it together, but we also have a human in the middle too if it doesn't recognize the transaction. So it's taken an accounting process substantially down too.
Wow, really great examples and really great examples of productivity and efficiency gains that have been achieved. But I want to ask you, Carter, I mean, what happens in two of those cases? You talked about salespeople, right?
Yeah.
And processes getting reduced, more efficiencies. What happens to human capital, in your viewpoint, when so much of the technology is doing the work for them?
Right. Gosh, I think of those salespeople now, and they're excited because they're doing less manual work. They spend so much time updating our CRM system, sending thank you notes, creating quotes, getting approvals, that they can be actually out there selling and talking to our customers now. So they're excited. I think if you can take those mundane tasks away and have agents do true work, the busy work, the human capital, I feel like they're getting excited about it. Even our finance folks, like that example I told you about.
Yeah.
They're getting excited. They feel like they're up-leveling their jobs and they're actually doing true work.
And they get to do other things.
They get to do other things, like talk to customers.
I know one of the things that you also believe is part of this transition that will come about with AI is the transformation of the role of the CIO. That now is a time for CIOs to take on a different role and a different level of leadership. Tell our audience here about that.
Yeah, it's like we're finally relevant again, right? Well, I guess we're finally relevant. We're becoming true business partners. We're being asked by our CEO, board members, how are you using agentic? How are you using agentic? And this is our time now to shine. It's really our time, and I know Glenn's doing a great job at Tractor Supply of doing that and enabling the business with technology. So I think our two roles, I feel like for CIOs is number one, like I said, enabling the business, training, putting this in the hands of employees, especially the younger employees. They think differently than I do, and it's amazing what they can do. And also architecting with the right guardrails, putting the technology in place so you can actually give it to the business people to automate their jobs. But believe me, the barriers of how humans can use technology, especially with AI, has been completely lowered.
Yeah.
And we got to make sure the guardrails are in place.
Carter, great discussion.
Yeah, thank you.
And Carter will be around after the presentation is over to talk to more, but it's been great to have this